Nikki Haley just dropped out of the Republican presidential campaign, which normally that would be good news for Donald Trump because obviously he's going to get her supporters, right? Wrong. He's actually losing a lot of Nikki Haley's supporters to President Biden.
Anything but Trump.
That was your priority.
That's my priority.
Is that the biggest reason you supported Nikki Haley?
Yeah, I'd say.
Because of Donald Trump?
Yes. Yeah.
I would vote for Joe Biden over Donald Trump in a heartbeat.
Republican, right?
I am.
What do you do in that event if he is the nominee and it's he and Joe Biden? What do you do?
I vote for Joe Biden.
Hi, Nikki Haley.
I think Donald Trump is a threat to the well-being of our country.
If she drops out, would you be disappointed if she endorsed Trump?
She does. I'll vote Democrat.
I've lived in a constitutional democracy all my life. I want to remain that way, and I want my grandchildren to grow up in one, not a dictatorship.
And I'm curious, over the last two elections, have you voted Trump in the past? Was it something where you voted for him, you trusted him, and you were disappointed?
Yes, I voted for him in 2016. I am a registered Republican, and I regretted that vote almost immediately.
Have you decided who you're going to support on Tuesday?
Yes, I think I have. I think I'm a Nikki supporter.
Are you open to supporting Joe Biden?
I am. I voted for him in the last election. I haven't been pleased with some of his policies.
What have you been most displeased with?
Just the spending and his treatment of the border. I think we've got real problems that he's failing to recognize and do something with. But he's a much better choice than Trump.
Not only is he unlikely to get the lion's share of Haley's supporters, but he's also losing other Republicans, moderate Republicans, and he only has himself to blame.
Is there any chance you would stay at home on Election Day?
No. I love American democracy too much that Biden and Trump, if it's a Biden and Trump race, then I would vote for Biden, even if he was dead.
No chance I'd stay home. I've never.
And I'm a Republican.
You are a Republican. That's why you joined the White House. You've worked for Republican candidates. Are you open to supporting Joe Biden?
Yeah, I have said that if it is a choice between Donald Trump and Joe Biden in a general election, that even if I don't agree with the policies of President Biden, that I would put policy aside and I would cast my vote for him for democracy, because I look at Donald Trump and this is someone who has shown us that he will not uphold the Constitution. And so there's no question in my mind then that I would be voting for Joe Biden, but I will.
Would you vote for Donald Trump over Joe Biden?
No, absolutely not.
So, yeah, I mean, I would vote for her, but I'm going to tell you right off the bat, if it's Trump against Biden, I'm going to vote for Biden, because to me, and this is what I think is important, is like, I can disagree with a lot of stuff, but like democracy is truly at stake here. And it's like, we're going to disagree for the next 100 years if we make it there.
Off the trail, Mr. Trump, who holds a commanding lead in South Carolina, is still seething about Haley's refusal to exit the race. On social media, again insulting Haley, calling her bird brain, and overnight warning anyone who contributes to her campaign, quote, will be permanently barred from the MAGA camp, after attacking his former UN ambassador on stage for staying in the race.
I felt I should do this because I find in life you can't let people get away with okay? You can't.
That is an unbelievable, unforced error. If you paid any attention at all to the results from the Super Tuesday primaries, you'd see that Trump's support, his Republican support in many states, especially swing states, is weak. Here's Karl Rove breaking it down.
The high command of Team Trump ought to be concerned about unifying the Republican Party, because as we see in the in these states, a third of the vote in Virginia, 43% of the vote in Massachusetts going to Nikki Haley, a quarter of the vote in North Carolina. Maine has now dropped down to about a quarter of the vote, but it was 31% for Nikki Haley. Vermont, 48%. There's still some work to be done to unify the Republican Party.
The challenge for a lot of presidential candidates is that what they try to do during the primaries is be as extreme as possible to shore up support from their base and then kind of tack back towards the center for the general election. But Trump isn't doing that. He's not trying to grow the base. He's actually shrinking the party. The Republican Party of the past is dead. What remains is the MAGA Party. And Trump has made it abundantly clear that if you're not extreme enough for him, he doesn't even want your vote. That goes for you, Nikki Haley supporters.
Whether or not they think Donald Trump is mentally fit to serve effectively. Among Haley voters in battleground North Carolina, 2/3 of them say Trump is not mentally fit to serve. Feelings if Donald Trump wins the nomination. Obviously, you might suspect this will be a largely dissatisfied group. 73% of Haley voters in North Carolina say they will be downright dissatisfied if indeed Donald Trump wins the nomination. And what about, will you vote Republican in November, regardless of who that nominee is? Haley voters, and this is the warning sign for Donald Trump, 81% of them say no. They are not an automatic vote for the Republican nominee. We know they're out there voting against Donald Trump. Donald Trump and his team are going to have to bring some of these people back into the fold, Jamie.
Now, a smart leader, a savvy leader, he would take advantage of Donald Trump's silly, unforced errors, and he would capitalize. He would listen to your concerns, and he would let you know, come on in, the water's fine.
Election, and if you look at the exit polling, these were like, you know, again, she had a clear, when she lost, she had a clear minority, but it's a significant minority. And not just on the question of will you support Donald Trump, but on a number of major defining issues. These are two different parties. Nikki Haley voters believe that the election wasn't stolen. Donald Trump's voters absolutely think it was. They have vastly different views on things like abortion and immigration and the economy. This is not like a turn the light switch and they're suddenly going to go to Donald Trump.
And Mary, let's come to you. I understand that statement just came through from the Biden campaign.
Our inboxes here. The president commends Nikki Haley for having the courage to run and then, as expected, makes a direct appeal to her supporters, saying Donald Trump made it clear he doesn't want Nikki Haley's supporters. I want to be clear there is a place for them in my campaign. He says he knows they won't agree on everything, but on the fundamental issues of preserving American democracy, that he believes they can find some common ground.
And he's right. We won't agree on everything, but we do agree on one major thing, and that is that Donald Trump is the biggest threat our democracy has ever faced, and he does not belong in the White House. So to Nikki Haley supporters, I say this: join us. Cast your vote for President Biden in November. Let's save democracy together. Tell your friends. This is Brooklyn Dad for Really American. Peace.